we are about to jump in with Rig Strongholds Allegiance versus Threes Up. Threes Up off a hot reverse sweep on E6. We're going to see if they can carry that energy through, or did they spend all their energy? Are they content with where they're at? I doubt they're content, but they have to bring their A game if they want any chance of taking out this Allegiance squad.
Yeah, and I had a chance to talk to a couple of different people who watch the Allegiance Sherpin series. I didn't get an opportunity to see that one, was a little busy, but Allegiance supposedly is playing very, very good today. So Threes Up, they're playing hot today. Allegiance, they're playing hot. We should be in for a good series today.
Yeah, should be a great series. And what a win this would be for Threes Up. If they're able to pull this one off, they have to be going into relegation so confident, knowing that not only did they beat 6S, not only did they beat E6, but if they beat all three teams that are in this relegation in a LAN environment, they're just going to go in so pumped and so ready to take that new HCS pro spot out in Burbank.
That's such a good point, Dave. That's why the last series was so important for this team to go and move on. We could easily be watching E6 versus Allegiance right now, just like it was the Pro League, but instead we have this crazy storyline of a team that wants to be pros. These guys have been grinding for months, and they've had highs and lows. Remember, Prototype used to be on that team with Tire Iron where they came in and played at the X Games. They were a top team back then.
Yeah, absolutely. So they've had their ups and downs, and it looks like Threes Up finally found the right roster to make this happen, because when they're going toe-to-toe with teams like E6, taking them out in clutch game 5s, there's no telling what they can do once they actually get in the Pro League and can play on a regular basis against those top pro teams.
Renegade is a very strong player on Rig Strongholds, especially when he gets the railgun, and what do you know, making his way over there, sees a player on his radar, chucks the grenade, predicting that he's going to jump up, but the grenade doesn't connect. Well, at least that first one doesn't. Second one is perfect. Contra, not expecting that. Absolutely not, but great play by Renegade, as you said. Maybe not the perfect execution, but when you make the right decision, when you're that sneaky, you don't have to have perfect execution sometimes. You're afforded to possibly miss a nade or a couple shots and still get away with the kill. Yeah, definitely. So again, Renegade finding this railgun, plenty of ammo still. Want to find out what happened with the power-ups, but as that happens, Renegade is going to drop with that railgun. Monster picks up an assault rifle kill. Let's see what he's doing. He's rocking the Envy skin. I believe I saw Camo still up at the moment. A couple players vying for it or kind of baiting it. I could be wrong about that, but we'll try to keep a close eye here on this Camo here on Rig Strongholds. Did fall in the hands of Rami, so Rami able to get away with that Camo. Let's see what he can do with this. His team only has BR base at the moment, so he's going to see if he can secure possibly Carbine or Basement. Yeah, so you have Railgun in the hands of Renegade, as you can see in the kill feed. Rami. I don't know if I like this play. Yeah, this is a bad play. If you have the Camo, you have to go for some sort of kill first. I mean, great grenade on Devonator, but one kill and trading 1 for 1 is not worth it. That Basement was reset so quick. I feel like if anything, Rami had to be some sort of force, getting a couple kills and just staying alive and blocking Carbine side. That Camo was all for nothing. Yeah, and again, to give you guys a little update on what's going on the side station, you do have Evil Geniuses taking on Straight Rippin' now. It is a 2-1 lead right now in CTF Truth for Straight. They are up 2-0 in the series. So again, we will continue to keep you updated on all the matches here taking place on the rest of the bracket. This one very close to being tied up, as you do have Allegiance controlling 2 strongholds, but multiple slays going on over to Threes Up. Nice job by Falcated, finally shutting down Renegade. Let's hop on over with someone from Allegiance and see what they're doing. Yeah, Allegiance just been in control this entire time. This last minute and a half, they've had control of Basement and Nest, and most importantly, continuing to spawn out near Carbine. They've always had control of those catwalks, and I think that's been the main factor to their success here on Rig Strongholds. We now are seeing for the first time almost Prototype and Monster taking over Basement, but shut down one more time. So I think the spawns have been in favor, and I'm not talking luckily-wise. I'm saying spawns have been in favor of Allegiance because they've been doing a great job of controlling outside. So they're just controlling the spawns better. Yes, they're controlling the spawns better, making sure they always spawn near Carbine, as we just saw on that death screen as we went right back in it with, I believe it was, I think that was Contra who screen around for a moment. Oh, double ground pound for Devonator. That was nasty. That elbow has been renamed to Ground Pound Town. As pre-Devonator pulling off that clutch play. 2 players coming on elbow, and generally here on Rig, you aren't punished too heavily when you're with a teammate nearby. There's going to be a few times where you both get hit by a grenade, but
a lot of times here on Rig, especially going around Elbow or Whitehall, you need to be really close to your teammates, and you're rarely punished for it outside of grenades. And Pre-Devonair proving that wrong by getting that sick double kill. I'd love to see that in replays later.
And then he takes out Straight Sick with a grenade as well. Prototype gets a stick onto Falcated, and that's going to be points going on the board for Allegiance. Nice splinter grenade is going to flush out Monster over towards that Carbine side, but that's going to be Basement now being captured.
Great maneuvering by Pre-Devonair, though. When he had literally no shield, or he had about a quarter of a shield left, he just weaved in and out, closed the gap, which in most cases, players are going to think that the closer you are to the opponent, the more likely you're going to be able to get damaged, but he just used those lines of sight, weaved around the box, and got his shield back, even jumping up on top of that box for a split second and getting a shot on his opponent. He was eventually taken down, but I really like that maneuvering by Pre-Devonair.
Monster flying in towards the basement, not able to get the kill onto Falcated. Or no, that was Straight Sick, who is no shield. Now Straight Sick able to capture that basement. Again, quick update, guys, from the side station. Straight up 2-0 over Evil Geniuses. In Game 3, this one is knotted up 2-2 on Truth CTF. So I'll continue to update you guys on that score. We are looking at game number 1 here, though, between Allegiance and 3s Up.
Yeah, Straight Sick getting a little over-aggressive there. I mean, I can see when you have a ground pound lined up, you almost always want to go for that in certain cases, but I felt like Straight Sick was in such a good position there, that top tower, that trading 1 for 1 and just keeping that trip cap for a little bit longer may not have been as worth it in the long run when he could have just kept his height, kept that height advantage over towards top tower and just denied players who spawned in bunker. But only time will tell if that was the right or the wrong decision, because we still do have Basement, and we originally did have Nest in favor of Allegiance, but those were both lost now as we see 3s Up making their push, and they now have the trip cap. So maybe I was correct when I talked about Straight Sick maybe trying to stay alive in top tower.
Definitely. So we'll see what 3s Up's able to do with this triple cap, because the bleeding is going to... No, they don't stop the bleeding. That's a reset coming on the BR base. 2 dead, make that 3 dead. Rami with the nice shot. Straight Sick picks up 2. Looks like he's going to probably be capturing this BR base shortly, and Rami's on top of it.
I like this play too. Rami realizing that all these players are going to spawn inside near bunker. He doesn't have to sit near Basement and wait for them to come over. He can put the pressure on immediately, and that's exactly what he did. He tried to push in, see if he can catch any players just jumping out over near Snipe Spawn or jumping over towards Engine 2. I like that originally, but I also don't know if they need to force and try to take control of BR base. That might be getting a little too overly aggressive, because at some point when you move in towards that BR base, you could force spawns out near Carbine.
Definitely, and you can hear these guys. Well, I can hear them just screaming call-outs behind us saying, 2 dead, 2 dead. Falcated ends up picking up 2 kills, and the call-outs intensity's picking up, Dave.
Yeah, Pre-Devonair, unfortunately, in a bad position here as he has the player with Railgun, top tower above him, but he has his teammate Falcated picking up that kill on Monster. I like this rotation over towards Whitehall. Pre-Devonair being a factor in all these kills, helping over near tower, helping near Whitehall, and eventually trying to help over near that Carbine side.
Yeah, and that's going to be 5 points away before 3s Up, and Monster picks up a huge double kill. That's a triple cap, and that's game for 3s Up. They take the first one, and they are on fire right now, Dave.
Yes, this is their tournament without a doubt. They have fallen short a couple times before, but HCS Las Vegas is where 3s Up have stepped it up. Seems like they found the right combination of players to have success.
Definitely. They're fired up. They're getting extremely intense. Let's take a look at the stats from that game and find out who was going big, as we do only see the strongholds currently. Renegade, help us out, man. Scroll through those stats. There you go.
Looks like he is switching on over, and Falcated dropping 20 kills, having most in the game, but that does not matter when your team does not get the most objective points. But it does sound like we have that sick replay from Pound Town. Oh, we don't have it, is what the producer said. My bad. Sorry to get everyone's hopes up, but yeah. Anyways, if you guys want to relive that moment, what happened was Pre-Devonair was charging up near elbow side, got a double ground pound, and it was absolutely disgusting. But with that description, you don't even need to see the replay.
No, you don't. It's like Dave, is the best
painted a vivid picture right there.
Storyteller. He's like the Bob Ross of Halo with his words. But an update on the floor, guys. Evil Geniuses, they refuse to go down. They win game number 3 in overtime, 3-2, even though Eco dropping serious bombs with 38 kills. So now they move into game number 4 with Straight Rippin being up 2-1 in the series.
That's still a mountain to climb there when Straight Rippin's up 2-1 because they're going to have their work cut ahead of them. If anyone can pull it off, though, Evil Geniuses, known as being very resilient. However, they did also lose that close, well, not so close Game 5 against Envy earlier, so they could have that pressure on their shoulders if they have to bring it back to that Game 5 Slayer.
And they've struggled with Game 5s up until where they did defeat E6 here at the tournament. So it's interesting to see that may be the scenario here. And Evil Geniuses, they were down 2-0 in the Pro League against Straight and then came back and brought it to Game 5 and then lost.
So this could be a repeat of that tale, but we will just keep some updates on that side station for you. Right here on the main stage, though, we have Threes Up taking on Allegiance. And this match is much more important than just this individual game here in the tournament life here at HCS Las Vegas. The reason it's so important is that Threes Up qualified for Burbank. They will be fighting relegation against E6 and Allegiance and Success. They have beaten 2 of those 3 teams here live in Las Vegas. They're trying to go for that 3rd win against Allegiance here.
That would mean so much for them, just mentally. That would give them the confidence that they need to move forward as we take a look at the crowd. Appreciate everybody sticking it out here and watching all of these intense games. It's been one heck of a weekend so far here in Las Vegas at the Millennial Esports Arena. Dave, we going to celebrate tonight?
We are going to celebrate. It'll be a fun time tonight. I also noticed that there's the other half of the arena where we have a lot of people watching that EG/straight match. We have a couple of these matches running parallel because the time is already running slightly late, and we just want to make sure we get done at a reasonable hour. So that's why we have Evil Geniuses on the side station. They had to start their match earlier before a different match was finished. But here we are kicking things off with Renegade, who is taking a interesting route. I mean, I see a lot of people go sometimes down low, bottom mid, going for scatter shot and going one of the sides, but I usually never see the bridge-to-bridge jump.
That's pretty weird. Either way, Monster does secure the rockets, which, Dave, if you could secure the rockets or the sniper, if you had to choose one, what would you choose?
I think sniper. I feel like you can do much more work with that, and it's, I feel like, a much safer weapon to have once you can actually secure it on one of the side bases. But I always try to think of it as how the game is going. For example, if there's a super chaotic section of the game where everyone's just running around and there isn't anything settling, rockets are pretty safe to have in those situations because anyone who gets nearby, they generally aren't going to be watching every single corner, so you can just kind of sit around, watch your radar, and get easy rocket kills. Whereas once the game slows down, that tends to favor the sniper rifle. The sniper can just peek out at small little angles. Someone makes one little misstep, and they get picked off just like that. But I don't think Rami knows this is a rocket player. Contra being super sneaky over at red rocket corner and gets his face ripped off by Rami. That's rockets down in red corner. Rami rotating with a snipe all the way to blue.
I'm really glad we switched to Rami's point of view after that. This guy is a beast right now. And, you know, I envy Rami because it takes balls to show up at tournaments in pajamas.
I hope people don't look up at some of my old pictures at like AGP2 or something like that. I had pajama pants my very first event. Maybe that's one of the keys to up-and-coming AM players. If they want to break into the pro circuit, wear pajama pants to some of your first events.
That's something that I used to do. I was someone that wanted to be extremely comfortable, could never wear jeans like Kyle, who was just up here.
Maybe we've been giving the wrong advice to all these up-and-coming players. We keep saying, like, work hard, grind, do the right networking and stuff. Maybe it's just pajama pants.
Pajama pants, specifically plaid ones that Rami likes to wear. But this guy is an absolute beast. And the only downside of Rami is his communication. But the thing is he's one of those guys that feels like he doesn't want to over-communicate and just flood the comms. He's much more of a listener. And you can have one or two of those guys on your team. You just can't all four be like that. So it's good to see Rami coming into his own here and playing well this tournament. Yeah,
and by no means can you ever have players that are entirely quiet the entire time. That can hurt a team immensely, especially when they lose some sort of power up and when they aren't speaking up, when there's a significant flanker somewhere on the map. I've personally not listened to much of Rami's comms before, so I'm not sure if he isn't talking enough or maybe he's just giving the right amount of information, just keeping it concise and succinct. but we will have to possibly go to a listen at some point later to hear how Rami and 3Zup squad are communicating, because I'm really interested now to hear how Rami talks.
Yeah, and again, guys, to give you an update on what's happening in the floor, Evil Geniuses and Straight Rippin', they are in Game 4. Straight is up 2-1 in the series, but Evil Geniuses right now with a great start to this Eden Strongholds. They are currently up 25-0.
Yeah, they had a trip cap for just a little bit. We keep going back and forth between these two matches. I see Tom's eyes glued from time to time over on this Straight Rippin' EG match. A little bit interested in it.
Yeah, if you guys wonder where I say to Dave, definitely, or pull one of those, Kyle, you're absolutely correct. That's just one of those things where it wasn't really listening 100%, but I got the gist of what you were saying. Monster, though, he has such a great play style. I was kind of comparing him to Soviet a little bit in terms of the way that he slays and just gets extremely aggressive, but he plays even faster than Soviet.
And Soviet was a quick, mean player. When I gamed with him, man, he would sometimes make some aggressive charges, and all I knew is as soon as we saw Soviet flying over, like on Guardian, we'd see him fly from bottom green towards top blue. We're like, I guess we're charging. Fly in, boys.
Yeah, and that's, something where everyone has to be on the same page.
Big gun runner for Monster right there. Just shows how much.
Getting rockets.
Yeah, shows how many power weapons that he's been picking up.
Yep, and it's going to be a 2-kill lead, though, for Allegiance. 3Zup, though, they're no stranger to comebacks. We'll see what they're able to do here. They're in a pretty good position, especially with Monster having these rockets. Finds 1 kill, but Straysick with some rockets of his own.
Yeah, that's a tough situation. He, I guess Monster, I thought he had used his last rocket previously near Bomb Snipe, but great job by Prototype just doing, just keeping that last rocket and catching him off guard. So huge props out to, sorry, I think that was Straight Stick who had the rockets, but either way, that was a tough situation because generally when you have rockets, you aren't expecting to run into another player with that. You're just trying to keep that close to mid-range distance to any opponent you can get. So anytime you start to see someone on radar or have an inkling that there might be a player in a certain area, you usually charge around that corner with no fear.
Not at all, and let's see what Contra's able to do with the sniper rifle. One of the best shots in the HCS. And the thing about Allegiance, Dave, is people forget they are prime-time performers in terms of live tournaments. So it's going to be interesting to see how this tournament pans out. I feel like Success, they are probably, I'd say the 4th seed, obviously, because they were the last team to get in. You'd have to say 3Zup the 3 seed, but if 3Zup's able to win this series, you almost want to make them the favorite.
Yeah, I mean, if that, I would agree with that. If 3Zup are able to beat Allegiance, I would say they are the favorite going into Burbank for that relegation match. But the thing we also have to keep considered is that 3Zup, they just got clutched too. They had to do a reverse sweep against E6. E6 had that match in the palm of their hands. So if we see some sort of definitive victory here from 3Zup, yes, I would say they're the favorite. But if Allegiance beats them, I would almost start to attribute and say, all right, is 3Zup just fluky? Were they having a great day and catching E6 off guard? We'll have to have that question answered out in Burbank. But I think right now we need to focus here on the 3Zup match versus Allegiance.
35-35, all knotted up. If 3Zup's able to win this game, they're just going to ride that momentum and close out this series for sure. We'll find out what's going to happen as you do have Renegade with the rockets. He has to be the player to get these guys back in it. Not sure if I agree with that rocket over towards top rockets, and then he drops to Devin with perfect shots.
Yeah, not the best use of rockets from Renegade, even though we've heard him being one of their top power-up runners on that squad. They picked him up supposedly because they needed that void filled on their team, even though I feel like I've watched Monster doing a great job with rockets, seeing Prototype doing an incredible job with Sniper. So I feel like they have a lot of players on their team that can handle his weapons, and if Renegade is their top power-up runner, I feel like that wasn't the best use of rockets.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll find out what's going to happen here. And taking a look at what's happening on the side station, Evil Geniuses looks like they're about to win Strongholds on Eden, and they are going to somehow win that with Ninja only getting 2 kills. It's not over quite yet, though. Straight Rippin', they have fought back and actually have gotten a triple cap, too. So just a little update from that side station as we do go back now to Allegiance and 3Zup. Allegiance, they need to make sure that they are getting these rockets. That's why you see Straight Six just sitting over here towards that area. but former teammate and friend Prototype is going to drop him and take his position on the map.
Yeah, I would say those two used to be a duo. Would you consider Straight Stick and Prototype the old duo? So yeah, they definitely have to know each other's tendencies, especially playing against each other all the time on teams, or also how many times they probably matched up against each other in free-for-all. So all these little 1v1 engagements, they probably know each other by like the back of their hands as far as jumping out and challenging, or when this person's going to stay and hide. So seeing those little battles between old teammates is always interesting.
Yeah, it's funny because you battle against each other so much just in warm-ups that you find out even when in which way these guys like to thrust. So tons of information going towards one another, and now it's 46 to 45 as Falcated does pick up a rocket kill. However, Renegade picks up that kill onto Falcated, so that's going to be a trade there. And this game is too close to call.
Yeah, neck and neck. Now Renegade, I like this choking off any players from trying to go towards Red Cave, but seems like he backs down. He could have been helping his teammate Rami here, and there we go. I like that drop, trying to help Rami. Renegade's in a fairly safe spot as long as he does not run into a splinter grenade like that. This next few seconds are going to be very telling about who's going to be ahead in this match, because I believe it was Prototype who was able to sneak away with that sniper. And not only that, guess who has rockets again? It is Monster. This is looking good if you're a Threes Up fan. Now it just comes down to execution for Prototype and Monster.
So close to ending this one. As you can see, Prototype with the sniper lands a body shot on the guy in back red. Is anyone there to clean it up? You do have Monster with the rockets, and there it is. That's going to be a 2-0 series lead now for Threes Up. You can see Proverb getting these guys pumped up. Meanwhile, we got an update from the side station. Evil Geniuses in Straight Rippin' will be going to a game number 5.
Game number 5 for those two. So those two just neck and neck here. That's going to be absolutely huge. But Threes Up, that was a great way to close it out. They did that perfect as far as Prototype getting a player one shot in the back of the base, and Monster just slowly creeping up through Rocket corner side.
And there it is, the stats that we've been waiting for. Let's go ahead and try to find one with the kill feed. There it is.
I'm trying to see who went big or who had a rough game there. I mean, it's sometimes tough just to tell by KDA. So is there any other screens that we have that might be cycling through with the kills itself? There we go. Rami going huge. I believe that's 14 and 7 from Rami.
Oh, man. We need one person down there to always keep the stats locked on their page so we know exactly who we're going to go to.
That's what we're supposed to be doing, but I think a couple of the players sometimes just switch off their screen.
I was always the first person, if I lost, to get immediately out of the stats page. Every single time. Taking a look at the blue squad. That is Threes Up. They are up 2-0 against Allegiance. Feeling good about their chances if they win this series going into Burbank. And heck, I mean, they could feel good about playing whoever they end up facing in the next series.
That's true. We keep talking about
that would
Burbank
be the winner of
as
Evil Geniuses in Straight, by the way.
Yeah, we keep talking about Burbank, but they're still in this tournament. They're still doing very well. There's nothing that says that they couldn't beat Straight Rippin' or beat Evil Geniuses if they take this upcoming match.
For sure. Taking a look at the Legion squad, seems like they're a little bit down in terms of the body language and just kind of not talking to one another. But
yeah, it's usually not a good sign when you see everyone just kind of with their heads down, nobody's talking, you don't see any hand motions, because I think it's important a lot of times, like talking about like, hey, we need to be staying alive, we need to be backing down, we need to be pushing together. It's super important to get on the same page. This is the reset period. Yes, it is devastating when you lose a super close Team Slayer game like that, when you lose 50-47, but these are professionals. They're in the HCS Pro Circuit for a reason. They need to pick themselves up and carry that over to this upcoming game. Truth Capture the Flag is a perfect time for these guys to step it up. They can get more comfortable just getting a few rounds of slays and then eventually pushing from flag cap. So I think that would help Allegiance right now, is maybe not try to force the objective immediately. Maybe not just have to get one kill and run the flag. Get a slaying routine going down. See if they can get Threes Up to start panicking and set the pace of the rest of the series. They can do a reverse sweep just like Threes Up did to E6 the match prior.
yeah, and it's 2-0 here for Threes Up, as you can see, 100-81, 50-47. Game number 5 between Straight Rippin' and Evil Geniuses is going on the side station, and we're going to try to possibly bring you that game if it does end up becoming pretty close. Again, I'll be shouting out the scores and letting you guys know what's going on. when that does happen.
Sounds like these guys are going to be loading up their game here soon, but we also, like you said, we do have EG and Straight Rippin start up on Plaza Slayer. Now, that's kind of a scary one, I would feel like, in EG's shoes. They lost that pretty handily to Envy not too long ago. So, in one of those cases, if you have that rough of a game on that map, you got to question, like, all right, didn't they get staked against Envy this map?
I believe so, yeah. A lot of that having to do with Olo, who was just going
Olo was absolutely destroying, yeah. I mean, he had a 10-0 start, got that killing frenzy. But in short, I mean, that can't set the pace too well for Evil Geniuses. I mean, you want to go through a game type. You want to go into something that you're very confident on. And I think that could have shred a little bit of EG's confidence going here on a Game 5 Plaza Slayer.
Yeah, for sure. And it looks like they are resetting the map for the Allegiance series here between Threes Up and Allegiance. Taking a look at the score for this Straight Rippin game, it's 6-4 against Evil Geniuses now in favor of Straight. Again, game number 5 here, Plaza Slayer. And it looks like Straight goes up now 9-5 too. So we do have game number 3 going on. It is going to be CTF Truth between these guys, Allegiance and Threes Up. Now, Dave, what does Allegiance have to do here in order to regain some momentum?
My feeling for Allegiance right now is just get a couple minutes of slaying at first on the beginning of this Truth game. Of course, when you have like all 4 down or you have somebody in position to pull that flag, go ahead and do it, but start to get your team's groove. They are known as a strong slaying squad. You have the firepower of players like Straight Sick and Contra who have incredible shots, but obviously they haven't been pushed around together. They've been kind of fighting their own battles. Get their groove, and then they can start to run flags. I feel like right now they've been getting quite handily outslayed. They have been just not together in most cases. So they've had a couple close games, but right now is a good way to turn this match around. Doesn't matter if they win 3-0 in a few minutes or if they take the full 12 minutes here on this Truth flag. They just need to take it little by little. And in most cases here, when things are on even footing, you can't go wrong with slaying and just getting more map control.
Yeah, that's a good point, and that's why you see Optic Gaming and Envy at the top of their games, because they are so good at slaying. So let's see what's going to happen. CTF Truth, Renegade grabbing the sword to start things, making his way all the way over to Contra to start.
Wow.
And picking up a double kill. That's going to be 3 dead. Prototype gets a kill onto Straight Sick. Now last guy alive is Falcated, and he gets a big
Huge
double.
by Falcated, not only killing Prototype, but he also took out Renegade, who had that sword in that flag run. So that was enormous right there from from Renegade, just getting that stop. We will jump on board here with Monster. Spawn on the base, and looks like he is taking his sweet old time going towards car side, trying to clear out his own car bubble. Not sure if that player's still up in there, and yes it is. Him and one of his teammates collapse in a bubble, takes out Devonator, and Monster's trying to stay alive here at bottom car.
Yeah, so that's unfortunate for these guys that Falcated clutched it so big, because when you're up 2-0 in the series and you come out and could potentially get a cap in 1 minute, that would be completely demoralizing for the side of Allegiance, but that doesn't seem to be the case here. Nice green gun coming in from Monster. He even gets the kill with the green gun?
Yeah,
you don't
I
see
guess
that
he got
very
the
often.
combo kill. Nope. That is quite rare, but look at this teamwork from Threes Up. A little bit of a botched flag grab from Prototype, but either way, his teammate was blocking that car bubble, so you almost have to wonder if he ran that as fast as possible. Would that have gotten stopped? And I don't think it would have. Looks like
Nice
Renegade
shots.
has that carbine over towards top carbine, just doing a good job doing some damage and getting those slays. One thing I do like about Threes Up here in this position is they have had a couple chances where I feel like they had potential flag grabs, like the one where they could have ran it through pink and they got stopped by Falcated right there through car side, where Prototype kind of botched the grab. But in short, even when they had those mistakes, even when they had a clutch play from Falcated on the other end, they never gave up and gave up a bunch of kills. I've seen too many of these top AM teams where as soon as they start to charge towards a flag and try to force a flag, they sometimes give up map control, and that hasn't been the case. Threes Up have been in control of this map the entire time. That's 3 down. Renegades run this flag towards pink side with the sword. This should be quick as long as he grabs the flag the first time around. So Even though he missed that, he is still flying across the map. Not sure if they are in position
no.
to stop this, but that is drop number 2.
Oh,
Renegade
no.
taken out with that flag. Not sure if they're going to recover this, but Prototype's here to save it over towards pink side. So Prototype and Rami trying to save it. That is a fuel rod in the attic by Predevenator, just doing so much damage, getting a double kill, going for that triple kill as he gets the stop. Allegiance are going to stop this flag and potentially counter cap.
That is a big mis-execution coming in from Renegade, running that flag, and a little update going on in game number 5. Straight up and up 27-25 over Evil Geniuses on Plaza Slayer. Very intense series going on all of the stations.
Couple intense games all around, so great job by Allegiance capitalizing on the mistakes of Threes Up. There have been 3 flag runs, and 2 of them have had mistakes by members from Threes Up. The other one, I would more so give credit to Falcade for just getting clutch. I wouldn't say that one's as much of a mistake, but look at this place by Straight Sick, getting that double kill through pink side and running this through car. That's 3 members down for Threes Up, which they should change their team name, I guess, but either way, taken down right there on the car side, and this flag run is being continued. We have Contra with some cover over at top center, just looking for any sort of flankers, and that's someone down bottom middle with Hydra. I don't think Contra's going to get killed by that, but Contra takes a couple shots, takes the melee, and eventually taken down by Rami across map. Will jump on with his teammate Straight Sick, who is still near bottom car, and this flag run is being continued. Even after a couple mistakes or a couple clutch plays, seems like Allegiance not giving up. This could be exactly what they need to get back in the series.
Just that
Keep
small
in mind, there's been 3 different flag runs that I thought could have been caps for Threes Up, and not a single one of them transitioned into a capture.
Yeah, you're right. So we'll see what's going to happen. You can tell that the way Allegiance is moving now, Dave, that they've gained a lot of momentum and confidence off that, and they feel like they're right back in this series now.
Yeah, just one game can turn that around. It can be a very frustrating because we saw not only just some clutch plays from Allegiance, like Falcade's clutch play, but I would say mistakes from the end of Threes Up. So you have kind of this confidence boost coming through Allegiance side, but also you could start to have some confusion and some loss of confidence from Threes Up, because as soon as they start seeing chokes and start asking the question, like, how do we not get that capture? What's going on? You never want to have those doubts in your mind. But looks like Straight Sick over here on the Threes Up flag with Camo, just waiting patiently. Gets a nice pick over towards that car slide. Getting some shots on his prior teammate, Prototype. Looks like he's going to get that finish, but no. Prototype and Renegade taking out Straight Sick. But we have Predevenator in the top center with Fuel Rod, just doing a good job keeping map control. And this is what I was saying that Allegiance needed to do. Even if they weren't able to transition every sort of kills into caps, they just need to get rounds and rounds of slays, get their groove. Don't lose all these fights and lose map control and try desperate flag caps, especially when they're up 2-0 in flags.
Yeah, quick update again from the side station. We do have Evil Geniuses taking on Straight Rippin' in game number 5. Currently, Straight Rippin' in the lead, 42-38, Dave. However, you do have very good control coming in from Evil Geniuses, as they do have the weapons.
Gotcha. I noticed a few of Rami's teammates dead right there, so I believe he was the only one alive for Threes Up there for one moment, and doing a good job with Prototype and Monster picking off players from Pink and Car side, and this is where Threes Up are going to flood out of their base. Now, it's tough for me to say that Threes Up been making too many decision errors on this map. I just feel like it's been a lot of misexecution. I feel like that's quite rare when we analyze a lot of these games.
Sword play, though, really.
Yes, that Renegade sword play was huge. But either way, those 3 caps, it just felt like slight misexecutions. And there's many times when I'm watching a lot of these gameplays here that it feels like these members are just making wrong decisions. But you got an update from the floor.
Yeah.
Don't you, Tom?
Straight Rippin' wins 50-41 in game number 5. Dave, I know you love doing math. Straight Rippin' had 49 assists.
Oh my God, 98%.
Insane. So they will be taking on the winner of this series, interestingly enough. Correct me if I'm wrong, but right now it did seem to be Threes Up, but Allegiance fighting back.
Yeah, Allegiance doing a great job and just getting ground this entire time, just outslaying throughout most of this match. I haven't seen any of these players hitting the back button and showing the kills, but great job from Allegiance more so throughout this entire match, just outslaying. Because like I said, if I felt like threes up, or if I felt like Allegiance were going to come back in this, they had to just have a game where they're just getting a bunch of slays. They weren't just going to like go even throughout a 12-minute game and barely scrape out a win. They have to send some sort of dominant performance and have threes up start to question themselves.
Here's another thing, Dave, is what is Allegiance's specialty? What are they really good at? They're amazing shooters. They have some of the best shots in the HCS. So when it comes down to a map like this where it's pure, you know, pistols, battle rifles, cross-map shooting, it's going to play in their favor. Meanwhile, when you have someone like Renegade, who you can see just puts in serious work with the railgun and getting power weapons, and Monster when he gets all those rockets in Coliseum, those are the type of game types that 3Up's favored in.
That's true. I didn't even consider how many power weapons came into play throughout those last couple matches and could have completely affected the outcomes of both games because they were both relatively close. Or I guess I would say the Strongholds one was relatively close.
They could have swayed either way.
Yeah. So both relatively close. And now when you take with his power weapons, which could have been the edge for 3Up, that could be taken away from them completely. We see Pre-Devonator not wasting any time as he runs that flag across the map. We have Prototype getting that pull, and Contra just playing this very patient. I like this play. He realizes he has a teammate coming from pink side. He just has to get some slays. Generally, when you have the flag back on your side of the map, all you have to do is go 1 for 1 in slays. And in theory, that should work out because your team's going to spawn closer and reinforce faster.
Definitely. So that's going to be game number 3 going on over to Allegiance. It's 2-1 series in favor of 3Up. Let's go ahead and take a look at the stats and find out who was going big. Again, Renegade, even though he did have a lot of kills for his squad, most kills on his team, did have that misexecution with that flag run and the sword. Falcated, though, 21, 17, and 13.
And it sounds like we do have a replay this time. I might have misheard the producer again, but we will see if we actually have the replay. Here we go. This is Renegade running the flag with the sword, barely missing this, and hits that flag against the ceiling.
He
gets a little too late when 2 players come in from the Carbine side.
He should have just slow played that onto the Eli, and someone got a touch from the side of Allegiance, which created so much chaos, and then Devin gets back into it. Once you make a play like this, it gives everybody so much confidence, and they really feel like they can win now, and they let them back into the series and expect a different team Allegiance going the rest of the series.
That not only translated into a counter cap, but they got a double cap off of that, essentially. About 30 to 45 seconds later, they got that second capture, and that was just a combined effort, like that flag hitting the ceiling from Renegade, and then Devonator just being slightly patient, getting clutch by going in the attic with a fuel rod.
Yeah, he probably flew like top car to top center, or maybe flew from his window to top
window
center.
Or top car, and I would be surprised if it was probably top car, because all your teammates came in from car side to get the stop. So probably all 3 members spawned bubble.
I like
2 of them went car side, and then he split up.
We saw, I think it was Fab Esports make the mistake of sending 3 people towards the cave. You want to make sure that if you're going to charge, you want to charge up in a line, right? But a spread out line, and kind of just choke the guys out. And you also want to make sure that you're anchoring the spawns, or at least filtering the spawns to where you can predict where the other team is going to be. So
it's always important to have more angles.
I want to see how 3Up's going to respond, though, because Allegiance, they're going to now be playing at probably, so far we've seen them, the first 2 games they've been playing around, I'd say 80% or so. That game, I felt like they stepped it up and were playing probably around 85, 90%. So 3Up, they're going to have to rise to the occasion now because, like I said, they're going to find out that this Allegiance team is going to be much more difficult than they were expecting.
Yeah, and they're going to have to prove it here on Empire Strongholds. Now, we kept talking about power weapons and shots, and this is a map that doesn't really have nearly as many power weapons compared to some other ones like Railgun and Sniper. So they're only going to have to work with the saw and getting that overshield. But let's take a quick look at the bracket here. We see here in the losers bracket quarterfinals that Straight Rippin' taking out Evil Geniuses 3-2, and currently on the main stage we have Allegiance taking on 3Up. The series is currently 2-1 in favor of 3Up.
Yeah, and you'll see that the winner of this series, we mentioned it before, they are going to be taking on Straight Rippin', who did beat Evil Geniuses in that epic 5-game series, almost a reverse sweep for EG. But now we are moving into Empire Strongholds, and it's hard to predict, Dave, but if you had to choose, who's going to win this one?
Well, going by your logic from last game, taking power weapons into account, this should be technically a Allegiance map, right? There isn't as many power weapons. Sure, there's a lot of close range fights when it comes to like Saw and a lot of these close range AR fights, but in general, they don't have to deal with any sniper, rockets, or railguns.
Contra ends up getting a kill. That's going to be 3 dead now for 3's up. Like you said, maybe a little bit of a team name change if they can't end up getting this series win. But this means so much for 3's up. Again, they are playing phenomenal today, and if they can win this one, again, they got to feel good about their chances to become professional Halo players. And it's hard when you look at 3's up. You want to say that they're pros. They're a group of guys that you really feel like they deserve to be in there. Rami, he subbed for even the best team at the time, which was CLG. He subbed for CLG and before they were Optic Gaming, and always putting up huge numbers.
Yeah, phenomenal player, but now having to see if he can do it with this up-and-coming squad of Monster, Prototype, and Renegade.
Whoa.
And what a long Spartan charge by Renegade, helping Rami take out Contra there, who had Saw. So that could be the moment they needed to actually break out of blue base. It seems like for quite some time they were stuck in a tough situation because they had the choice of either pushing through security, which is quite a long flank, or going outside and running straight into Contra Saw.
Yeah, and one of the, I guess you can say, as 3 people die on the side of Allegiance, looks like Pit is going to be going on over to 3's up. Nice job by Straight Stick getting that kill onto Renegade. But one of the things that I've heard from a couple of players is that Devin and Contra, or just the Allegiance squad, once they start to lose, they get a little bit down on themselves. And if you're a little bit down on yourself and you get given a gift like Renegade not putting that flag in, that helps out your mentality so much here. And I think that that's what we're seeing now with this Allegiance team. Yeah,
there are certain top players, even top players on pro teams, that they seem to be hot and cold. Like when they're on fire, they are on fire, and when they're pumped up, it is one of the best teammates you could possibly have. However, when a couple things don't go their way or they lose a couple games, they can be a detriment to the squad. They're this double-edged sword that works for or against you. And it depends which player you get that game or how the series is going. And like you said, maybe that truth game had turned Contra and Devinator, who could have potentially been complaining before, not having the best series before, got them all pumped up and turned them completely new players.
Well, the reason I said that was because when we looked at the red side, we saw them talking to one another. You saw Straight Sick kind of pointing around and communicating. You saw Falcated kind of swaying his chair back and forth. Before, we saw them staring at their phones, looking down at the ground, not talking to one another. So I feel like they've started to kind of pick it up here and started communicating with one another a little bit more.
Yeah, and it's showing also in the game and on the score screen. Look at Contra getting that double kill, challenging that third player in pit. His team has a 41-14 lead, and look at those shots on Rami. What a shot and pistol by Contra.
Like we were saying, Dave, if it comes down to just hand-to-hand combat, Allegiance is favored.
When people fight with honor, not using all those cheap weapons.
Yeah, right? That's always one of my favorite things. I remember playing any Halo, really, but they're like, you're not even good. All you do is you use the weapons. Yeah, you're right.
I remember hearing those complaints back in the day, like, oh, she's only good because she does like BXR, grabs weapons and stuff like that. And I was like, don't you remember like the very first like 5 or 10 tournaments before patch came out, and we won those tournaments without any of those sort of things like BXR or double shot?
Yeah, cheap tactics, Dave. Cheater. But we're seeing a lot of new implemented mechanics in this game on top of the already thrust and ground pound, auto stabilize, all that stuff. You're seeing the YY with the grenades. You're seeing some new Spartan charge tactics coming in with the sword.
So for those at home who don't know what the YY is with the grenades, could you explain that for viewers at home?
Yeah, so it helps cancel the animation for the grenade when you do the YY. It's not like an instant grenade, but it kind of looks like it's flying out of your armpit.
Gotcha. So those little advantages all these pros are trying to take advantage of. Obviously, if you can shoot a split second faster, you want to be able to have that ability.
Yeah, we'll see when someone does it here next time they throw a grenade. Looks like Falcated doesn't end up doing it, so we're going to switch to Falcated. We want someone that does the YY. Come on,
Looks like
guys.
none of these players are going to live up to expectations, and maybe that's why they are still in relegation here and not at the top of the open bracket. Went there. No, just kidding.
Dang,
All right,
Dave.
but these guys are way better than me.
Dave's
If I have
usually a
to say
nice
it.
guy. He is usually a nice guy, but when it gets late and he gets hungry.
No, but one also part of that, too, is with the YY is it really is only relevant if you kind of had that heads-up engagement where you actually need to shoot that little bit faster.
Yeah.
If you're banking a nade around the corner or off a wall, it really has no relevance.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of players, they do it just to practice it every single time.
It's true. It's a good habit.
At the same time to get into that little bit of a habit. But I love seeing those things come out into the game about a year later. Just goes to show how much time, effort, and energy these guys are putting in to becoming the best. Contra getting that nasty beatdown onto Renegade.
And threes up, finding themselves in a reverse position to where they're at before. They were up 2-0, or I should say down 2-0 in their series against E6, looking primed to get knocked out of the tournament. And this last series right now, as we're watching, we saw threes up in a perfect position, up 2-0, and then losing that truth flag game. I can't see threes up turn this game around. It just seems like they're frantic. I'll talk to production and see at some point if we can go to a listen-in with threes up in this final game because I want to hear their call-outs. My guess is it's nowhere near as calm as how it was earlier or how happy they were.
Yeah, that's true because it looks like we are moving into a Game 5, especially because Falcade locks down that overshield and they currently are racking up points now. If you're threes up, what do you do?
They just need to all step it up. Like I said, it feels like it's a combination of decisions and execution now. Whereas when I felt like their beginning part of the truth were like the first 4 or 5 minutes, it seemed to be more of an execution error where every single flag run, the 2 flag runs that both Prototype and Renegade fumbled.
Is this where you pull one of those Dave Walsh, ice the other team by, you know, saying that you got to go to the bathroom or
I don't think I've ever done that in tournament. I've done that online where I'm just like, all right, guys, let's put these guys on a cooler right now. They're a little too hot right now. Yeah, I don't think I've ever done that in a tournament as far as icing the kicker in the middle of a series because I'm usually quite confident in my team for being able to bounce back and just focus on the future. There's been plenty of rosters I had where some people start to talk after the game. They'll say, why don't we run the flag this way? And I will instantly stop them mid-sentence and say, hey, next game, what are we doing? What are we doing Plaza Slayer? What are we doing Rig Slayer? You always have to focus on the following game. You can analyze after the tournament's done, after the series is done, but you're going to accomplish nothing by analyzing a CTF game when you move into a Slayer.
That's true. And if there was ever a time to call a timeout, if there was ever a time to try to reset, it is now. And we do have a Bravo sighting in between the rafters, in case you guys didn't know. That was Andy himself in the flesh.
Always looking around through production, always doing something extra more than casting. He does way more work than us, I think. We usually come in front of the camera. He's directing
he even
parts of the
for
show.
Me earlier today when I wanted to eat.
Bravo is a great person to have here, not only within the Halo community, but also being over at 343 and helping direct this franchise in a good direction.
Yeah, and promoted, I believe, to senior producer.
Yeah, I don't even know what that role means, but I'm happy for the guy.
I think it means that he is senior and he's producing.
Well, tell me about what game we have coming up here next, because you talked about Allegiance being the squad that's strong on maps that don't have power weapons. And we have a new truth. I mean, is the fuel rod cannon going to change that significantly, or do you feel like on truth it's not as big of a deal?
Sniper Rockets railgun. Because you look at the way that Threes Up plays, they are great with those weapons, especially Monster with those rockets in Coliseum, just locking it down, big gun runner, and then especially Renegade with the railgun on Rig Strongholds. So now, who's going to step it up individually with their shots? Because we saw a couple players going pretty negative in that previous game. I believe it was Prototype and Renegade, both going about double negative.
One thing I want to point out with the scores that we just saw there is the first 2 games that Threes Up did win. They were extremely close. It was like 181, 50-47, whereas the 2 games we saw out of Allegiance, a 3-0 flag game and 100 to, I want to say, somewhere around the 20 range, 25 or so for that Strongholds on Empire. So we are kicking things off with Renegade from Threes Up. Can he help lead this squad to a Game 5 victory against Allegiance, giving them the confidence to go in Burbank and go further here in HCS Las Vegas? Or is Allegiance going to turn this match around?
Prototype grabs the camo. He's going to drop to Straight Sick. Let's see what Straight Sick's going to be able to do. That's a 3-1 lead already. Make that a 4-1 lead for Allegiance and counting. and they're just riding that momentum ever since Renegade was not able to run that very first flag. And it's been a disastrous series ever since for 3s Up. Prototype flies in with the assault rifle. Straight Sick not expecting that. Let's switch on over to Rami and see what he is able to do as he makes his way over towards pink side, going up the blue street, landing down some nice shots on a player over towards car 1. He's trying to grab the battle rifle, finds that, but let's go on to a listen-in with 3s Up and see what they're communicating.
Sorry, guys.
I've nades on it.
What's...
Your bubble,
Yeah, in the bubble, one shot, in the bubble.
On my blue.
Bubble.
Yeah, he's really
Hey, he's in my Eli, straight sick.
Yeah.
He's ready Eli, one shot, ready Eli, one shot.
Pushing my P.
On my car, one shot,
Watch out, Devin. No one coming up, Remy.
I need help, guys. I need help at blue.
I'm with you, Chad. My P2, straight sick.
Yeah. I'm getting drilled.
Yeah, there. Left.
I died. P2 in the face.
Yeah,
Stay alive.
Get the help, Remy. 2 on Remy. 3 on Remy.
3 P2, guys.
Watch out, P2.
2 P2, one car 2.
Alright.
2 P2, 2 P2. And car. Guys, push this.
I window. Go on our below race.
No, below our base with sword. There's 2 below our base. One has sword.
They killed me.
Oh, stay alive, Remy. Stay alive. Give P2 stay alive.
Watch out, man.
Get with each other, get eyes.
You start getting kills, guys. Like.
Yo, he's in the bubble. Or
I got
he's
one.
in the bubble, guys.
I got Brian.
We gotta push your car. We gotta push your car, guys.
Dude, where's my thrust? Dude, Tom Edge, Contra.
Where's he gone?
Yeah, I don't know.
Red bubble, guys.
Red bubble.
P2 with sword. P2 with sword. Pushing ready like.
Go on our base. 2 on our base.
Ready lie weak.
Our bubble,
I died,
Remy.
kill me.
Oh, fuck, dude.
He's one shot. Nice.
Yeah, it's still there. Guys, camo.
P2 right now.
It's at
44.
It's at 44.
Oh, he's one shot bottom blue. One shot bottom blue.
P2 one shot.
Can we
Image is up.
We gotta get the image. We gotta get the image.
Guys. Two time mid.
I can't go for it yet.
Slay.
Oh, he's in our car.
Go on. Watch out.
Oh, in our car, guys.
Oh, on it. P2 weak, straight sick.
Getting camo. Guys, we need help for camo.
Dude, what the fuck? Our bubble, guys.
Get him a camo.
We need to push them off their
Where's
car.
he at,
They're gonna
guys?
keep killing us.
He's got camo. He's got camo at
Stop pushing
24.
me. He's
2 on my car.
Get in your car, guys.
Watch out, bottom blue. Camo, go. Camo's dead.
Shit.
I'm inside blue.
Red bubble weak. Red bubble one shot. Red bubble
Blue car, one shot, guys.
Front red. Bottom car, car one.
Red bubble, guys.
I'm pushing it.
Somebody
Stay
blue car.
alive, dude.
Guys, two pushing my blue car.
Car T weak, go shot.
Pushing blue car. Two pushing blue car. They're both really weak. Blue car.
Car T Devin weak.
Blue car.
2 car. 3 on car.
He's on top car, man. He's not.
Get down. One more here on me. Pushing me.
He's pushing you.
Blue line.
He's one shot.
Now, I heard a lot of panic and frustration in those 3s Up callouts. You heard things like, where's my thrust? We got to start getting kills, guys. There's one shot over here. Just was not a concerted effort about where they're pushing, about staying alive. When I hear about more veteran teams, someone like Evil Geniuses talk about slow it down, stay alive, back up, I got your help. I did not hear a single one of those small talk callouts from 3s Up. But I want to go on with the squad who's up 28-13 right now. We're going to go to Allegiance Listen to see how they're going to try and close this game out against 3s Up.
Yeah, I'm coming red. I'll drop
You feel 15.
Got him? Yeah, behind me. P1, I think. I'm looking. P2, he's blue window. One car. Blue window to car. Hey, super window. No, I got blue window. I'm gonna push P1 to blue.
I'm gonna push car.
Mike has sword.
Blue pink.
Car two weak.
Monster.
I need help car.
Heals up.
Pushing for red.
Nice.
For red.
Camo 25.
Red car.
We have fuel.
He's still going. He's red window.
One's in blue window as well. One shot at me.
Camo 25.
25 camo. P2 red.
Right, two weak. Nice.
Tom mid. Yeah,
Stay alive, Mike. Stay alive.
Another guy P2.
Camo soon. Camo 10. 25 camo.
Two guys here P2. They push.
Car one shot. Prototype.
Two guys P2.
25 camo. Camo's about to drop.
Car one. Renegade.
I got one.
I need help. One shot face.
Camo's supposed to be up, Mike.
Camo, guys, camo.
Camo's up, Mike.
I need it. Sword is down in your car, Nick. Yeah. Sword is down in your car, Nick.
I died.
Nice job.
P2 again.
Camo, guys. Camo.
They may have it.
On it. One shot.
They got it. Burn it. Nice.
Live. Bottom in.
Bottom in.
I have shields. Bottom blue, one shot. Bottom blue, plasma pistol. He's sitting there. You can team him. One shot. Absolutely.
I'm gonna.
Coming pink. Sword's on my X. I need help in pink. I'm behind you, of course. Blue window right now. I'm no shoot. I can't. I died.
I died from the car. Guys.
Stay alive here, guys. We have a good lead.
Mike has sword.
There's two. One shot. Relax. Watch her P.
He's on the slide now.
You feel this minute.
Ready line. Red P2 one shot. P2 one shot. Car2 one shot. P2 weak. Rami. P2.
Last guy.
He's there. One shot. I need help, red street.
Nice.
Nice. I'm go back.
Check spawners, check
Watch red car, red car slide. Watch out.
On your field 30.
Watch out, red car slide. We come up. Nice, red car slide. Watch out, prototype.
I'm leaving that. I'm leaving
Car.
that.
He went car too, man.
Red
Piatic. He's down your car, cut. Watch out, red Piatic.
Pushing you, Corey. Stay left.
Nice. Stay up, Mike. Stay up.
I need help.
I'm looking, Mike.
Corey's here.
Car two as well.
Car 1 weak, car 1 weak.
Car one.
Their slide.
Car one still. No, I got blue window as well.
Look at the difference in those callouts and that hype. You heard about staying alive, relax. We have this lead. Don't give up many kills. Whereas it just seemed all this flustered callouts from threes up. What did you notice, Tom?
Noticed the same thing. I felt like the small talk was there. You know, you heard Straight Six saying, I got hit with a nade. I died. I just won the series with a reverse sweep. And look at how pumped up they are. They're going to be taking on Straight Rippin' in the next round. They got to be feeling good after that phenomenal 3 games in a row.
Yeah, that will be the loser semis right there for Allegiance and Straight Rippin'. If I'm correct, I believe we are down to the top 4 teams.